big and exciting things. Hey, listen, welcome to Family Wellness, welcome to Weaver Wellness, and welcome to Comprehensive Labs. Listen, we are going to talk and show you exactly what it takes to be a site technician. We're going to take you into the day, into the life of what you have to do in order to help individuals with getting their COVID test completed. It's a real simple process, and you're actually going to need some help to mess it up. So let's just jump right into it, because I know you're ready to get this knowledge, right? Well, welcome to Weaver Wellness Clinic. You know, we're going to go ahead and do your COVID test. All we need to do to get started is your ID. Do you have your ID with you?
Actually, I do.
All right. Now, first thing, while she's grabbing her ID, as you can see on my screen, we're going to basically have different locations that we can choose from. Now, this right here is going to be key if you have, say, like a church, an organization. If you have a church or organization, if you have anything that's a specific site, then we want to actually make that a location. But let's just say you're just randomly meeting individuals or going to see friends or family, and it's not a specific site, then it's going to be under freelance in the state that you're in. So right now I'm in Arizona, so it's going to be under freelance Arizona. So I'm going to go ahead and click on freelance Arizona and hit submit. Now, after I hit freelance Arizona and hit submit, you're going to see different options. The option that you want to choose is to say collections. So we're going to go ahead and hit collections. Now, once you hit collections, in order to input someone and get them started with a COVID test, we're going to go into the top right hand corner and hit add collection. So let's hit add collection. All right, now we're ready to actually get started. So you have your ID?
Yes.
All right. We're going to go ahead and input the patient's ID in, and so we're going to go ahead and input their information. Now, we're only going to input the red asterisks. So the date of birth 11/18/87. So we're only going to input the red asterisks 11/87. I usually do the month, I do the year, and then after I do that, I do the date, which is the 18th. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and hit provider. Provider is going to be basically the doctor that's in your state. So depending on what state you're in, it might vary. For us, it's going to be Dr. Katrina Mattingly. Now, after that, we're going to go ahead and put their ID in, their ID number. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop that in there.
You guys do that?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and you know, you guys will you guys will definitely. The reason why she's asking me you guys do that is because what you don't know is helping me with this is a COVID tester expert. Okay, she's been doing this now for some time. How many people do you think you have tested, you know, total?
In the last 5 months, over at least 10,000 people.
Over about 10,000.
That serious, because you got to think about it. At least 2,500 people a day.
25. You do. So let's get this straight.
Yes.
You're seeing 2,500 people a day.
Yes, on certain rushes, and then you gotta think about it like during Halloween, any holiday, it's always a rush. A lot, one day, and sometimes like say for instance, you got the Super Bowl coming up. We'll have a rush. We'll have all these people coming in, and it'll last days because they're gonna want their test before they go. And celebrate with their family and friends, and then they're going to want to come after. So like we'll have a surge for 2 or 3 days.
Gotcha.
What, like 2,500 people a day? A
Wow.
lot of people.
Wow.
Now this is per se like the whole. We're open from 7 to 11. Not my shift. 2,500 throughout the day. As far as like appointments.
But that one location though.
Yes, at appointment status we can see like on our charts how many appointments we have that day.
Gotcha.
And that's why I can, give you a specific number.
Gotcha.
Because it's serious.
All right, so now that we have the ID number in, now we're going to go ahead and take a copy of the photo. We're going to hit take photo. Now, this is going to be very important because as we take a copy of the photo, what has to happen is you don't want to have a lot of background So make sure that there's not a lot of background in the photo. So go as close as you can to the ID to make sure that you're not cutting off any edges, but there's not a lot of background on that. Now, after you do so, we're going to go ahead and now input the address. Now, here's a trick. I really don't ask them if that's the correct address or not. I just take the address right off of the ID because we have no reason to mail them anything. So even if it is the wrong address, I really don't care. Now, if they tell you that's not the right address, I don't tell them it doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and just input the address that they want me to input. So in this scenario, I'm going to go ahead.
If they didn't have an ID, would you not test them?
We
Like, you know,
are in this scenario, this is actually an Illinois ID. So since this is an Illinois ID, I would take it as an Illinois address. So now, since I'm testing in the state of Arizona, this is where I would probably ask them what their address is. So that way it will match up when it comes to the records. So you don't have to give me your physical address. You could just give me any address. Okay, thank you. She gave me an address. I'm gonna go ahead and type it in there.
awesome. So say perhaps you have a homeless person, you know, greet you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, do you guys turn them away?
So
Like, you know, do you try to help them? You know?
in order for us to take let me do 23rd Avenue. In order for us to sit down with someone who doesn't have an ID, it would have to be a specific purpose. Say like a homeless shelter. If we have a site, and if it's a, you know, that's where we would take a picture of them. But
okay.
we'll take a picture of them. But the key thing is we definitely want to make sure that we grabbing their IDs for sure. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is get her phone number, and she's giving me her phone number right now. It is 602-555 2086. All right. Now on this scenario, I am going to take your email address, your correct email address, because this is where we're going to send the results. So what is your email address?
Princess, PRINCESS,
Mm-hmm.
McNally, McNally,
Mm-hmm.
87@gmail.com.
All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put this information in. Remember, we're only gonna do red asterisks only. Okay. Now, temperature, we're gonna use a default at 98.7. We don't necessarily have to take their temperature. If you're the kind of individual who wants to take the temperature, we're not telling you not to. But if you're someone who wants a default, my default is 98.7. Now we're gonna jump down to barcode. Now the barcode is what you're going to have when you get your supplies. You have two options to insert your barcode. You could either type it in. If you decide to type in the numbers on the barcode, you have to put the dash. If you don't put the dash, then you won't get compensated for this test. So you want to put the dash because it makes harder work for the lab to find the test. Or you can scan it. In this scenario, I'm going to go ahead and put the dash in here. Just to drop it in there. 49080. And then, now here's the key thing. If they have insurance, we need to collect the insurance. We need to get their insurance card. I remember you and I were talking about this a couple of days ago about the insurance, and you know, you were doing something that was, I don't know what you guys got a different process a little bit, but
Insurance is very important.
but the insurance is important.
The insurance is actually what pays me to work for my company.
Yeah. So
When they don't have the insurance, that's when we are able to find them in any system with their identification card.
gotcha.
So like, say perhaps we have people come through our line every day. They state to us and lie and say they don't have insurance just because we offer a free test. And so with that being said, it's just protocol that we always get their identification because, again, that's how I get paid as a provider. So.
Definitely. So let's just say in this example, she doesn't have insurance. So we're going to go ahead and click no insurance. If she does have insurance, the next screen will just be to insert their insurance information. It'll be their insurer name, the ID number for the insurance card, and then we're going to take a picture of the front of the card and take a picture of the back of the card, and that's going to be the next screen. But in this scenario, we're going to put no insurance, so it's going to skip that screen. Now, after we put no insurance, we're going to hit drive up location. Okay, now if you are doing, say, like a group home or nursing home, you can go ahead and select that. If not, we just put drive up location. Now the next asterisk and the last one, you'll see it says picture of a completed specimen tube. Now listen, a picture of a completed specimen tube, it doesn't mean a tube with a swab in it. What that means is it's completed because you have identified and put the correct information on the tube. So in order to do so, you're going to have to take a baggie and you're going to have to take a tube. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically write the patient's name and date of birth on the bag, and then write their name and date of birth on the label, and then we're going to stick this on the vial, okay, on the tube. So let's go ahead and write that down right now. And then after I get done writing, I'm going to show you guys just what it looks like, so that way you can get a visual as well. And then I'm going to put the date of birth as 11/18/87. Now, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the barcode. Write her name. And then also write the date of birth. And then also the ST is I want to put the state that I'm taking this in. Now after I do that, I take this label and then I'll stick it on the tube as such. So basically, it's going to basically look like this. Okay, it's going to look like this. Now what I want to do is I want to take a picture of it just like this, where I can see her name and date of birth on the bag, and I can see her name and date of birth on the tube. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take it just like this, take a picture. And now that we've completed that, we go to the next page. Now this is a preset page. You don't have to touch anything. What I would do is, if you notice that they have a cough, or if they said that they didn't feel too good, I would ask them if they had any of these symptoms, and I would put that down. But it always has to say around possible affected person. Never change that, never touch that. Okay. Now the only time that will not populate is if they pre-register with a link or a QR code. If they use a link or a QR code to pre-register in our system, then that will not populate. So you would have to physically put it at around possible affected person. But other than that, it will auto-populate and you will hit next. Here, since they did not have insurance, we're just basically selecting I am not enrolled or covered by any insurance coverage. And then we're going to scroll down, and this is where she's going to sign by using her finger.
You want me to sign my last name or just my first name?
First and last. All right. So now that she signed, hit submit, and now it is time to take the swab. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the swab, and what all I do is I open it up, and then I let her know I need her to swab the inside of her mouth. Okay. And then I let her know the left side of her cheek 10 times, the right side 10 times, and then the roof of her mouth. Okay. I'll take that and swab the inside of your mouth. Now, while they're swabbing, now all you have to do is get the tube ready for them to put that swab in the tube. So now I will untighten the tube, be ready for her to be done. And once she's done, I'm gonna ask her to place that in the tube. Now, after she places it in the tube, then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just pick slightly up the stick, and then I'm going to break it. And then since I picked it up slightly, the stick is going to fall all the way in the tube. And then I'm going to go ahead and seal it, close it tight, so that way the liquid will not waste and travel. And then I also am going to put the vial in the bag, close the bag, and now put this bag on ice. We recommend you have an ice chest. And we recommend that that you just keep everything while you're working on ice. So therefore, it doesn't. The DNA is going to stay available for the lab to read it properly, and also you can get compensated and paid because we only get paid on results. So you want to make sure that you're doing that well. Now, some of the things you're going to need. That's done. It is completed. Here's her ID back. Everything is done. But of course, what you're going to need to make this work, you always want to make sure you have gloves. Okay, so we always make sure that we do this with gloves on. I like to have scrubs, so I'll always make sure that I'm scrubbed. I really don't do any testing outside in regular clothes. I always make sure I wear scrubs. You're going to need a pen, and you're going to need a marker, a black marker. The black marker is to write on the baggie, and the pen is to write on the label. So you're definitely going to need that. Of course, you're going to need sanitizer. As you just seen, the first thing she did was sanitize herself, and it gave me some sanitizer. So you're definitely going to need that. As well as I keep some alcohol wipes. The reason I keep alcohol wipes is because after they sign, I can now wipe off my screen since they use their finger to sign my iPad. Now, you can also use a phone if you like. It's up to you. Now, what you're going to also get inside of your supplies is you're going to get a UPS bag, and you're going to get a label. All you then have to do is take your vials, okay? Take your vials, stick it inside the UPS bag, and then go seal it up. And then you're going to go to UPS store, give them the label, and give them the bag. They will then put that label on the bag, print you out a receipt, and now this is next day aired to the lab. Now, depending on what state you in, and depending on how many other technicians are in your state, the one thing we want to do is we want to make sure we consolidate our test. So we want to make sure we use at least amount of shipping bags and labels as we can. So if there's 2 or 3 or 5 different technicians in the state, there's going to be one person that is designated to pick those tests up and to send that off to UPS. If you're by yourself, then of course you're going to be designated to be that person. But the key thing here is this is simple, easy. It's a process that you're going to actually need somebody else's help just to mess it up. That's how simple it is. But if you have any questions, definitely let the person know who got you started. You can reach out to myself, reach out to some of the other leaders that are in the company, and we look forward to working with you. Any questions on this, feel free to leave it in the chat as well, and we'll definitely be sure to get you some answers. You have a great rest of your night.